One of the most pernicious beliefs in modern day culture is that having children is a burden, especially the financial aspect to it. Children are too expensive. And I'm here to tell you, as a father of two boys, 6 and 3, they're not as expensive as you think. And they're not as expensive as you think they need to be. Now, some of my regulars on the channel as well, they'll know I love to call out a psyop. Okay? I'd like to do it in subtle ways. Don't want to go too deep on them. I don't want the YouTube overlords demonetizing, deleting videos on my channel. But this is definitely a modern day psyop. Absolutely. You have to understand. You have to know and accept that there are some incredibly powerful people, elites, call them elites because they're not really elite humans, but people that want depopulation. Been on record, for example, Bill Gates. Bill Gates is one of the most popular, one of the most powerful and influential people on the planet today. And he's been on record, on film, saying depopulation needs to happen. There's too many people on the planet. And if you look into him, and anyway, I'm not going to mention nothing about him now. And this, I've seen it in modern culture. I see it and I hear it all the time. And it started with women. It was an attack via the female mindset, but it's got to men now. It's got to men that are, having a kid in this modern day age, the way of the world, they're too expensive. It takes away from you and your life and yada, yada, yada. Now, if you're someone who genuinely struggled to put bread on the table, you work a minimum wage job, whether you're by yourself or you're in a relationship with someone, you're struggling, you get to the end of every month on pennies, of course, you bring a kid into that scenario, it's probably not going to work for you. But when most people say that having a child is too expensive, what they really mean is this. They really mean to say is that having a child is too expensive for my current lifestyle, my current setup, and that they don't want to sacrifice a lot of their current living standards or their lifestyle for a child. Yeah, they have their 1 or 2 dinners a week, they have a couple of holidays a year, they don't want to give that up. So it's too expensive, can't afford to do it. On top of that, me and my missus, we don't have a hell of a lot of money in that regard. And we used to go out for dinner every week, once a week, every on Saturday, and drinks one night a week as well. And then other things on the weekend. I worked out, this is pre-COVID as well, I was probably spending over 100 a week on all of that extra on top of everything else. And when we had kids, we realized, we can't continue that. So that was it. That was fine. We were like, okay, we're going to sacrifice that then. We're not going to go out every week. And we don't actually go out that much for dinner these days. And the thing is, when you have young kids and everything else and how demanding they are on top of work and whatnot, don't even want to most of the time. But it was no problem for us. That was not a big deal. We didn't sit there going, oh no, God, I wish we could still go out a couple of times a week. So we chose to have kids. So we will make that sacrifice in that regard. Now there's other things, of course. I don't think kids are as expensive as people make out, and they need to be. The food and everything else, they do get a bit more expensive as they get older. But really, technically, most people should be making more money as they get older, right? Promotions or whatnot. But it doesn't need to be that expensive. I mean, people talk about a good education. Okay, you want them to have a good education. And I'll get to my kids in a bit. But it's like, what education? What, so you send your kids off to school, they can get programmed into the school system and the education? What, so they can go to uni and get into loads of debt and barely find a job anyway? And I mean, if you have a kid now, by the time it grows up, all the jobs are going to be taken by AI anyway. Right? How many jobs are going to be around? So you've got to think about that stuff. And like I said, it doesn't need to be as expensive. If you have to send your kid to public school, then so be it. Then so be it. But you should be able to trust yourself as a parent. You can undo a lot of that bullshit that they're going to teach you at school. You're going to have to try hard. That's one of the sacrifices you'll have to make as a parent. You'll have to try really hard to deprogram from that stuff. But for most places in the world, why don't you homeschool? Homeschool. Save yourself a shit ton of money. And they're not in the school system and being surrounded by idiots. Now, for my own kids, for example, this might sound slightly like a hypocrite, but we can't homeschool. We really wanted to homeschool. It's illegal here in Cyprus, basically. And we don't want them in public schools. Public schools are so bad here. So bad, so backwards. Just absolutely terrible. Teachers disgraced a lot. So the next best thing for us is Montessori. Now that's expensive. But again, so we had to make other sacrifices somewhere else financially. In our lifestyle and our day-to-days to be able to cover that. But what do you want? You want again? I hear parents say, "Well, I want them to have nice things." Like, what fucking things? What fucking thing? I never grew up as a kid, and I didn't know any kids growing up. Like, oh, I want the latest Nikes. You know, I want my bed mattress to be like so comfortable. It molds my body and I get perfect sleep. Oh, I want the latest this and that. The fuck? No kids grow up thinking, wanting, or even knowing about all these nice, fancy things. I grew up with nothing, man. We had nothing, absolutely nothing. I was happy as Larry. I was so happy. I don't care. I was going around wanting the latest things. What do you want them to have? The latest iPhone? You want them to have the latest iPhone? You want them to be dopamine addicted from how old, right? You want to shove a screen in their face from how old and be addicted to that? You want them to have the latest PlayStation, right? Become a gamer. So they're playing games 8 hours a day and never going outside. Is that what you want? Is that the nice things? You have to think about this. You can raise your kids cheap. You know, you can, oh, I want them to do things. I want them to have activities. I want us to go on holiday and travel the world. You want to do that. Again, your life, you want to have all this stuff and you want them to do this and that and you want to continue to travel and all that. Do the kids even want it? Do kids, bro, you don't understand. When you have kids, we live next to the beach, right? Don't have to pay any money to go to the beach. We'll be there for hours. The kids will be there for hours playing. Don't need to buy them toys or any of that. Kids' imagination is incredible and they have amazing times. You can live and you can do it in cheap ways and kids can grow up happy and free and grateful and for very little amount of money. I think a lot of this whole lifestyle, kids are too expensive, is keeping up with the Joneses. You know, birthday parties are getting out insane, out of control. I'm going to, I remember going to a 2-year-old's birthday party. The mum told me she spent $3,500 on this party. The fuck? What the hell? We haven't done a birthday party for the last 2 years. My eldest kid hasn't done a birthday party. We booked an Airbnb for like just over 100 quid a night up in the mountains, Cypriot mountains. This year we went to Waterworld. When he had his fourth birthday party, which was cheaper than everybody else's by a mile, it cost like 500 quid. We were like, oh, we're not doing this. Well, this is crazy. But like I said, a lot of keeping up with the Joneses. Oh, this person did that party. Oh, they had this there. And oh, we got to buy this and we got to buy that. And we realized we were falling into the trap and we were like, no, not doing that no more. Guess what? My son has been so happy on his birthdays the last couple of years. And my youngest, we haven't thrown a party, my youngest is 3, still he doesn't go to school yet. He doesn't do nursery, he hasn't done none of that. We've been keeping him at home. Because why rush him into that? Why send him away for multiple hours a day? We keep him at home. And so technically he doesn't have like a whole group of friends to have a party with. Great, cool. He's one of the happiest kids you're ever going to meet. But be careful, man. I think this is a low T way of thinking. You know, I think us men have now been psyoped as well. And like I said, like, don't get me wrong, difficult to find a good woman to settle down with, have kids, Times are difficult financially. It is tough. But ask yourself the question, if you're genuinely in a bad state financially, fine, okay. Can you, if you really want kids, if you're honest with yourself and you do really want kids, can you look at the ways that you can scale back? Scale back your lifestyle, scale back, make cuts here, make sacrifices here, here, and there, and there. Because you don't need to be doing this mindset that you need to do this for your kid. You need to buy this and do this and yada, yada, yada. Keeping up with the Joneses, all that stuff. It's bullshit. It's nonsense. It's rubbish. You can raise your kids so free, happy, independent. They you know, their development can be, you can be hitting all their targets, everything, for a fraction of the cost that most people are doing it for. All right, don't buy into this. Oh, kids are a burden, and the environment, fuck the environment, and then the way of the world and all this. This is another mindset. Oh, the way of the world, don't know the way the world's gonna be, and you know, all these wars and everything. Bro, look at our history. Look at human history. We have had children in world wars. We've had children through great depressions and plagues and God knows whatever else, right? And we're still here as a race, and we still find a way, and we still thrive. So all this, oh, the world's not perfect, so I can't have kids, is, again, bro, you have to have this mindset, right? One of my favorite YouTubers, Elijah Long, he's having this Retard Max sort of series going on, which is really good. And it's like, stop over-analyzing things, he's saying. Stop overthinking. Just fucking do. Just put yourself, go retard max your way into things, into doing things. And I'll tell you a little story. When me and my wife was trying to get pregnant initially, when we decided, all right, we want kids now. I started work at this new tennis club, and the pay was terrible. It was a disgrace, the pay. It's the lowest pay I've ever had in my life. It was a disgrace, right? And she fell pregnant. And if I had stayed on that wage now, yeah, we'd be pretty fucked. You know, it would have been difficult. But at the time, I was like, I'll figure out. And I backed myself to figure out. I have my skills as a coach and, you know, some connections and whatnot. But I figure out. And you just got to think, I'll figure this shit out. We'll do it. All this overthinking, all the way of the world and the expenses and fucking, you should be backing yourself. There's something to say, to just retard your way max into that, to kids. Take on that responsibility. And it's amazing. It's amazing what having a kid does, how it lights a fire up your ass as well, by the way. And really gets your ass moving if you're not. All this fear around it, man. All this fucking fear and overthinking it. Bro, it's the most... I can't explain it. No, I'm sure you've heard this many times. It's impossible to explain how rewarding it is. Yes, it's tiring. Yes, it demands a lot of your time and energy. There's a lot of stress involved. It's difficult, you know, lack of sleep, and you're questioning yourself, you want to do a good job, yada, yada, yada. My God, it's the most rewarding thing, man. When you have those moments, and every parent will tell you what those moments are. Brother, you can't beat that. Can't beat that. There ain't no fucking dinner out that's going to beat that. There ain't no holiday. There ain't no Gucci bag. Ain't no Lambo that's going to beat it. If you can have all of that, then great. At the same time, great. But if you're being cut into this zeitgeist, this psyop, that, oh, you know, kids today can't, it's not the way, this ain't the world to raise them in. And you really, really deep down you want one. Well, you have to look at yourself. You've been had, man. You've got to back yourself to figure it out. And you will. If you want it enough, you will. And it will be, there won't be regrets there. So something to think about. Let me know what you think. I know people aren't going to agree with this. I know everyone, there's always going to be disagreements. And like I said, if your situation really is dire, then you need to sort that out before you bring in kids. I'm not telling you to be irresponsible. I'm not telling you, you know, if you're living at home on the sofa, or you're in your mom's basement and you're if your situation's dire, I'm not saying, all right, just fucking go on, just have one and see what happens. No, like, you should have certain ducks in order, but I'm just saying, don't fall for the psyop. That's what I'm telling you. So let me know what you think. Come chat with us in the group. We talk about many of this stuff as well. In the group, links in the description. And remember, Epstein didn't kill himself.